I'm glad I spoke for all of 2 minutes. And you guys didn't hear what I said. I don't know if I'm hangry, but I'm definitely something. I don't want you to be hangry. What is cracking, everyone? So now let me start again. So the first thing I said was, is this going to start again? Who knows? Hold on. It is going to start again. Oh, God. The first thing I said was, it looks like the overlay is crooked on my computer, on my desktop. And I said, maybe my brain is crooked. Because when I look over here in the confidence monitor, it does not look like it's crooked. That's one. Two, I said, hey, Purple Paisley Planner. Are you saying hi to Paul or are you saying hi to Pride Paul? Then I took out my level. My monitor is even. Oh, it didn't work. Hold on. What is going on? So the timer, oh, we got to move Pride Paul. The timer, I really like this overlay here. I had saved the timer so that I thought I saved the timer. So, damn it. I think I am angry. Let's make Pride Paul a little bit bigger in this overlay. Pride Paul can hang out over here. He's cute. Hey, Bo, he's cute. I don't even know anymore. You know what I do know? I'm tired. We have 2 days to go. We are on day 98 and I am absolutely feeling it. And it's not, I'll be honest with you. It's not because I'm feeling the live streams. I am feeling how busy I am getting in the real estate industry. I just finished working. Literally, I just finished working 15 minutes ago. I could have kept working, but I knew I needed to get on the stream and I needed to tear my eyes away from a monitor. So I forced myself to go upstairs for 15 minutes. If not, I could have kept working. If I didn't have the stream, put it this way, if I didn't have the stream, I would still be working. I guess that's a good problem to have. Evie caught that I was talking to you guys and there was no audio. Oh, none of this saved yesterday because one of the things that I did do yesterday was that I saved so that the, bring a comment up, so that the comment was supposed to be like right in the middle. We did all of that and that did not save. Well, all right, whatever. What is cracking? How are you? Hey, girl, hey. Gigi says she's hangry. Purple Paisley Planner. Paul. Hello. Pirate Broadcast. What is cracking? Move some stuff aside. We said, where's Obs? Paul in the house. Gretchen, how are you doing, Gretchen? My brain is always crooked. This is true. This is very, very true. I think after this week, my head is a little tilted. Yeah, this week was, and it's not over. I think that's also, do you guys ever do forward thinking? Like you're feeling some kind of way and then you're thinking about, well, the stuff you got to deal with tomorrow. So tomorrow I have a home ownership expo. The home ownership expo is from 9 to 1 p.m. for the attendees. The vendors can start setting up at 8 a.m. This home ownership expo is an hour and 45 minutes-ish. Actually, I should put that. I have to go to my corporate office to pick up. Evie, I just saw your text message. You're so funny. I have to go to my corporate office to pick up goodies before the event. So let's see. Columbia Bank. If any of you guys want to meet me and just hang out with me and be my, partner, you can meet me at Columbia Bank at the Broadway office tomorrow at like 7:45 in the morning. And let's see. So tomorrow, did you guys know that you can check Waze and tell Waze when you're going to travel, and Waze will give you the estimated commute time. Did you know that? I use that all the time when Angie and I, when we're traveling to and forth to each other's houses. So tomorrow, and if I want to arrive, yep, it's about right, to arrive tomorrow at 2500 Broadway in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, I must leave my house at 6. Hold on. Did that say? Yes. Coño. At 6:11 in the morning. So that means that I need to wake up at around 4:30ish so that I can shower, change, drink coffee, put the dogs away, put them in the crate, give them time, give them breakfast, like all of that stuff. So I have to wake up at like 4:30, drive an hour and 35 minutes to the corporate office, pick up the goodies, drive an additional 15 minutes to, they're doing it in like a park that has an amphitheater, and they're doing like outside tents, and all of the vendors are going to have tents and stuff like that. So to drive to the park, set up the table with goodies, flyers. And then I'm also presenting on the ABCs of home ownership at 11 a.m. So tomorrow I have to be on all day from 9 o'clock in the morning with the, this is my banker smile. I think I've showed you guys my banker smile. Hold on. Hey, how are you today? Do you want to find out more about the mortgage? I have a great rate. Let's talk about it. I specialize with, that's my face all day. And so forward thinking, that's what I'm thinking about for tomorrow. And then I'll be done. Sunday is the very last stream of my 100 days. And then I get to take a break. So what is cracking? What's popping? Thanks for making me fatter. You're very welcome. Yes, he's cute. Be here for the party, because there will be a party. Absolutely. Lewis, I'm actually going to text you right now. I've been meaning to text you. Let me text Lewis before I forget. I'm texting him because I'm going to forget. Okay. And don't ask me why I didn't just send him a message, because it's private. And I thought about it yesterday and then I forgot. So before I forget again, I wanted to make sure. James Hicks, what is cracking? How are you doing today? Oh, that was the wrong one. There you go. What is popping? Candace, how are you? Happy birthday. Enjoy the shenanigans. It'll be a working weekend. Yes. Saturdays are my 8-hour day. Evie, what are you going to be doing working? I know Paul's are those are his long days. What you doing? You like the overlays? Weren't you here yesterday, Pirate Broadcast? Listen, I don't even know what I'm doing. We did this yesterday in Canva. I could have sworn you were hanging out with us yesterday. But thank you. I like this one. This is my favorite. I'm probably going to keep this one even after the fact. I very much enjoy this one. Hey girl, hey, how are you doing? Thank you for coming through. We appreciate you working on the book and the website. Very nice. But will you be home? Evie, I swear to God. So can I tell you guys, see, I am absolutely hangry and I'm fasting. Someone save Angelica. I started to fast again. So I started my timer at 6:25 this evening. I'm going to do a 16. I'm going to try to do a 6. Oh, that means black coffee tomorrow. Oh, I think I may break I think the fast may start on Sunday morning. Yes, that because to wake up as early as I need to wake up tomorrow, I think that the fast, because then that means I can't have my regular coffee that makes me happy with cream and sugar at 4:30 in the morning. I think today was a bad day to start my fast. So what I will say is that I will leave the non-eating time from 6:25 to at least 4:30, because then that helps me cut out junk food and stuff like that. So that's a good thing. But if I would have done the 16:8 fast, then And we are going to go back to how evil Evie is. I didn't forget that. And I don't want you guys to forget how evil Evie is. So I'm going to keep saying that until I tell you guys exactly how evil Evie is. Okay, good. Now that I've said that enough times. If I were to do the 16 8-hour fast today, starting at 6:25, I will not be able to eat. I cannot break my fast until 6:25. Yeah, you are evil. And I'm going to tell everybody exactly why you're evil. Just hold that thought. I will not be able to break the fast until 10:25 tomorrow morning. And with how tired I am, what my week looks like, with how early I have to get up, and with the commute and things like that, I do not want to start tomorrow. That's just what it is. I do not want to, tomorrow I want to enjoy and wake up and get out of my grogginess. And especially like, because I'm going to be presenting. So I have to like really turn it on. We're going to start the fast on Sunday. So I'll talk to you guys about that on Sunday, or even maybe tomorrow night. Gretchen says, I have to start a clear diet tomorrow afternoon through the 14th in prep for a procedure. Not looking forward to that. So I'll be hangry, no wine. No bueno. We can do it together. Piper Broadcast says, no work husband crazy. I've been often on their lives. Off and on their lives. Yes. Okay. Let's see. You're lovable. You are lovable, but you're also evil. You see, and because we are good enough friends, you see this right here. This is why, because she knows. See? She corrected it, but this is exactly why she's evil, because you know what Evie does to me? Evie will FaceTime me. And so now everybody's going to know how evil Evie is. And she thinks it's the funniest thing. No, it is not. And we're going to do this. Evie thinks that it's so cute and funny to FaceTime me, not even send me a picture. She FaceTimes me. And she'll FaceTime me from her living room or maybe her studio space. And we'll start talking. And then she starts walking. She caught me this week because because I said, how's Bailey? She started walking through her house. I thought she was going to show me Bailey. No. Evie will FaceTime me and then go to her balcony and do this. And show me her balcony with all of the palm trees and the luxurious San Diego sun and the weather, and how she gets stretched out on her deck or her patio, or whatever you call it, outside in the beautiful sun. Not what I have. So Evie is 100% evil. Do not send me a San Diego coffee picture, because I will FaceTime you at 8 a.m. my time when I'm setting up the table, which will be 5 a.m. your time, a grumpy picture of India. Okay. Just want to make sure we put that out there. Anyway, I'm glad you guys think that this is funny. Sounds like we need to go visit Evie. I mean, you're not wrong about that. I did tell Angie, listen, we got friends. I want to go to Cali. I said, listen, we got friends in Cali. So, we can go. Hold on. I also started drinking water again. So, I was on, I think I mentioned it yesterday. I don't know, possibly. If not, I'll mention it right now. I was in the Streamer Accelerator group for live streaming pros yesterday. Loria Petrucci and Callie Fabrio asked me to come in and to talk about the 100 days of streaming, the challenges, the pros, the cons, all of that good stuff. And so we spoke about, Lori did a great job. We spoke a little bit, did a fantastic job at being ready with all sorts of questions. And I think that that's really good with not just like tech questions, but like real life questions. She said, how did this affect your relationship? How did this affect your self-care and things like that? And those were not pre-planned. I told her about my website. I told her about challenges in terms of what I've spoken to you guys about openly. Like with building out the website and with work getting busier and things like that. We've kind of spoken, I guess Angie's probably been a little bit more vocal about it, where, she's had to be very supportive and give up time from our relationship because this is the time that we normally FaceTime once the kids are asleep. This is kind of our one-on-one time. And so I'm spending one-on-one time with all of you guys, which has cut into our relationship. So she's been very good with that stuff. Sammy Superstar, what is cracking? So Loria did ask. So some of the questions that she asked, and I didn't talk about it too much. I've spoken to my good friends, my really, you guys are all my friends. I love you all my friends. But the people that I actually FaceTime and talk to on the phone, I have been open and honest. And, I have suffered from some bouts of depression recently. And it's just a lot, right? And, everybody goes through stuff. I think that, and I know I've talked about this throughout multiple times, maybe, once or twice last year. I'm sure I've talked about this throughout the year, maybe not through my 100-day challenge, but I have mentioned it about mental health and about taking care of yourself. And like I have told you guys that I see a therapist. I usually will see a therapist at least once every other week. I call her a mindfulness coach because she's not necessarily a therapist. She is like a mindfulness spirituality coach, but it's kind of like a therapist. So I'm very big on mental health. And I'm just trying to, not in a negative way. I'm pausing because I want to make sure that what I say is that what it really is, right? Like I want to process the thoughts the right way. Because I love the fact that I did the 100 days. And I don't think that the 100 days had a negative impact on me. Naturally, doing such a long term, and I probably should talk about this stuff on Sunday, but we're already talking about it today. So whatever, whoever missed it on Sunday, whoever misses it today, I don't know what to tell you. But naturally with the 100 days of challenge and that taking up so much time, I do average about an hour a day of what is cracking. Today's 98, Diana. Sunday's the big day. But thank you. What is cracking? How are you doing today? What is popping? Naturally, I stream for on average about an hour, right? Every day. Sometimes it is an hour and a half, but then there's also, if there's pre-work, so like when I did the stuff with LumaFusion, when I did the stuff with Notability, like those things, there was a good amount of pre-work that went into it, anywhere from like an hour to, Diana, you're funny. Whatever. But let's just say on average, an hour and a half to possibly 2 hours every single night. And then, like I've mentioned to you guys, with homeownership now starting, homeownership season starting, I've been extremely busy with work. Managing it all. So you guys know that I went to Angie's house, right? So I definitely made sure that I gave our relationship attention and I took the time to still go see her and I streamed from her house and things like that. But naturally something was going to give because I'm not Superwoman, right? No one is. So it becomes, well, then what? Not that you drop the ball completely, but there's going to be, when you're adding in something new to your schedule completely, a schedule that's already packed, what is going to be sacrificed, I guess, for lack of better words. And for me, it was two things which probably can be tied for me. Well, let's say it's actually three things. So two of the things are absolutely tied for me. The third thing kind of is. So what are those three things? And it's all self-care. So it all falls into self-care. So for me, doing this 100-day challenge, the negative part of, or the negative impact, I guess, because I don't want to say it's negative. That's why I keep like stuttering, because I don't want to put a negative connotation on it. But the part that kind of was a negative impact, that if I were to do this type of challenge again, even if it were a 30-day challenge, because I see how it affected me, I need to make sure that that becomes a priority, is the self-care. So you guys know that I love to cycle. So like my health and working out is huge for me. And not because I'm a fitness nut, but because that is my coping mechanism for stress, I have to work out. That's how I release my stress. So if I don't work out, it all gets built up, right? So then it becomes anxiety driven. It becomes sometimes borderline depression and things like that, depending on how bad it is. Thank you. A consequence or a compromise. That is perfect, Gretchen. 100%. Both, right? Because it was a consequence. This was an unexpected consequence of it. And then where is the compromise if I were to do a challenge like this again? Because I don't want to compromise as much as I did. So that's perfect wording, Gretchen. Thank you. And so as I started to get busier as work and as the time started, because of course, 30 days, it's like, all right, this is cool. And you have those endorphins. So there was that excitement in the first month because it's like, okay, I'm doing this. All right, this is great. And I have the support from you guys. And then, 60 days started to roll around. And then that's when, like I said, it started becoming compounded with me being busier at work. And then as I started to get closer to the 90 days, right? So as I started to get to, I would say probably about 70 days. So about 20 days ago, it really hit me really hard. And I, for lack of better words and without sounding dramatic, and this is why we don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about mental health enough. We aren't vulnerable. And I get that sometimes that's a very private thing. And that's okay with it being a very private thing. But it shouldn't be a taboo thing. Right? And I feel like it's more of a taboo thing than a private thing. I was depressed, for lack of better words, and without just pussyfooting around the word. I fell into serious depression. And there's a handful of different things, but what made those feelings more compounded and what exacerbated those feelings was my lack of self-care. So I was not releasing stress at all, because I wasn't working out. So I said that it was 3 things. The biggest thing was working out, because whether it was I was indoor cycling, I stopped that completely. When the weather started to get nice, I did not external cycle. I wasn't lifting weights. I would normally go to the gym. I was doing CrossFit earlier in the year. I stopped any type of physical activity. And I now know I can never, and I've said this to Angie, even in the last couple of years of even us being best friends, I've said that to her. When I start to get really stressed out, it's like, oh, I got to go to the gym. I got to go do something, because it affects me really a lot. So no physical activity. And then the other part of the self-care that I said it was the 2 are tied together is that every morning I would wake up earlier. Or not earlier, I'm an early bird. I'm an early riser. I'll wake up at around 6 o'clock. And I take that time for myself because I do journal. I have mentioned that to you guys before. I do journal in the morning. It's more of a journal gratefulness thing that I do in the morning. And so that second piece, and Paul noticed it, right? Because it was hit me instantly. Like a truck hitting. It was like, oh my God, I'm depressed and sad now. All of a sudden, it was a huge change for me. And so when I do take the time in the morning to journal, and I journal specifically, I've showed you guys when we went over the Notability series, was that I use a gratefulness journal. And within that, for me, I take that opportunity that when I'm being actively mindful, I actually spend time with God and I work on my spirituality. And I stopped that completely. Now, that was twofold. That wasn't a direct, the 100 days wasn't a direct consequence of that. That was a part of it, because I was tired. So I wasn't waking up early. I would wake up with just enough time to have coffee and then come downstairs and start to work. But then the other piece of it that I took for granted was that because I was seeing my spirituality coach every other week or every week, because there was some stuff that was going on that I decided to start seeing her once a week just to talk things through and keep my head kind of fresh. When I started seeing her once a week, I took it for granted of, oh, I don't need to be intentional with my mindfulness because I'm spending a whole session with Donna. That's her name. I'm spending a whole session with Donna once a week. And we do pray. We do talk to God. We do, meditate. We do all of those things. And so when I got depressed, I went through whatever slump or whatever phase it is that I went through. And then it was like, you have that reality of what the hell is happening? Why the hell did this happen? And how do I get it to stop? So when I went through all of those things, it was like I am the first reality or the first aha moment was I'm not praying anymore. I'm not journaling anymore. I'm not right. Like it was that stuff. And I was like, well, that's not good because that's for me, the mindfulness. I've been doing this probably 10 years. Like that has been a routine for mine. And of course it's not every day, right? Like it's like, but this was probably the longest that I went without really being intentional with it. So that was a huge part of it. And then, like I said, it being compounded with not doing any physical activity and not working out. Now here's the other piece of it. That is not right. So the 100 days just took time away from me where it was like, all right, I'm tired. I'm working. I'm going to do the 100 days. And then once I'm done with work at the bank and once I'm done with the live streaming, I'm just going to go to bed. And then I would wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired because I was mentally tired from work with crunching numbers and having those conversations. But then that mentally tired started to become physically tired because I wasn't working out. So then I started feeling lethargic and I literally had no energy, right? So it was like this really big, like snowball effect, a bad snowball effect. Then the other piece of it for me, which probably I guess also is a part of, right? So the consequence, Gretchen, I love that word. Thank you. Another consequence of the 100 days is, but not a direct consequence, is that you guys know I bought my house here in Philly. My mom and my brother live 4 hours west in Pittsburgh. Angie lives 4 hours north in Connecticut. And my friends are all in northern New Jersey, which are about an hour and a half away. So then my closest people, and you guys see I'm very close with my mom. My mom and me are like best friends, and I'm very close with my little brother. So then my family, we are very tight knit. We're 4 hours away. And then my partner, that is also my best friend, is 4 hours away. And then my friends that I do have, my community, because I'm still building a community here in Philly, but my community that maybe if I'm in a funk where normally, so this goes back to tying in the consequence of the 100 days. So probably when I started to feel the funk, let's say in day 70, I would have called one of my friends and I would have been like, listen, let's go have drinks after work. Let's meet up for lunch. Let's have let's end a day. So usually what I used to do when I lived up north was we would end a day at around 3:00 and do like happy hour and like just hang out from 3 to 5 so we can get cheap drinks and catch up and have some girl time. And not that I don't have that, but then that goes to the consequence of the 100 days where normally on a weekday, I would have called my friend Roxanne and she's jumped in. My friend Roxanne has jumped in. My friend Jackie has jumped in the comments every now and again. They come and support. Where normally I would have said, hey, look, let's spend some time together. Now, here's the thing. It's an hour and a half drive up. It's an hour and a half drive back down for me. So that's 3 hours just to commute to hang out with them. And then if we hang out for like 2 hours, that's 5 hours where I'm okay with that. But then when I have this commitment every day to stream, I didn't have that time. So being able to reach out to a physical community, so then that's when I had to stop. So it all became exactly that, Paul, right? The isolation of it. And so Oh, I got to look. So Evie says, it looks like my last comment triggered YouTube filters, but you're a moderator, so you can untrigger it. That's so funny. All right. So I'll check in on the comments. Once I'm done with these thoughts that I'm just sharing with you guys. This goes back to being vulnerable. We have spoken about this on the stream before, earlier in the year. And I think that it's really important to be vulnerable and talk about these things. So going back to when things really, the avalanche started, that's what it was. So when the avalanche started, that it's like, all the snow is hitting and it's like just all coming down. That's when I reached out. And so I told Paul, well, I reached out, of course, to Angie. And that's when you guys saw that I started spending more time at Angie's house where, I went there for the birthday parties, because all of their birthdays are in May. But then I went there for the birthday parties and it was like, okay, I'll be home in 2 days. And then I realized I can't go home now because I need to be around my support system. I need to be around, my partner, my best friend. I need to be around people because if I go back home to be alone, I need to, shake these feelings of isolation, like Paul said. And then obviously Angie knew, she was very supportive. And then that's when I reached out to Paul and I told him, I was like, listen, just to let you know, I've been struggling and I've always struggled with anxiety. And that's one of the things I think for probably a lot of people, but I know like with my parents, the way my parents grew up and my, how do you not have a wrench? Paul, can you give Evie? I could have sworn. Paul, can you take care of that, please? Thank you. So I reached out to Paul. I let him know what was going on, right? I reached out to Gigi and I reached out to Evie, because Evie is always FaceTiming me. So I was like, well, if you're going to FaceTime me and freaking show me San Diego, then I'm just going to give you all my depressing. No, Evie and I have been friends now for almost a year now. We've always like talked and stuff like that. But then it was like, okay, so then if I know that I can't physically hang out with my friends and, my family 4 hours away, like I got to lean on people and I can't keep this to myself because keeping it to myself has done nothing but create more depression and more loneliness. So that was a very real, and I'm glad I spoke about this today because when we celebrate on day 100, I don't want it to be any of these thoughts. And not that I have a problem talking about it, but I think it was good to like talk about this stuff today towards the end, and then it'll just be pure fun on Sunday. So let me go up and check in on you guys. Here, she had to deal with me every day, you decide. I know. See, Paul was the real reason why I got depressed, actually. What is going on? Gabe, how are you? Obs completely understands the cycling piece. And so for me, you guys know, like I love cycling, but cycling is huge. So when I do cycle, I usually cycle for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. And when it's a weekend, I'll cycle for like 3 or 4 hours. I'll be out there and that just helps me so much. So I've been saying, I've been trying little by little getting out there but it's a big time consumer. So Evie says, same thing happened to me. I got stressed and busy, didn't go as much to the gym as I should have. End of Q1, started spiraling down all the way. Why am I even trying? Why am I doing this? And I remember we had some of those conversations, right? Because again, it was one of those things that we do check in on each other. And so I remember you actually said those last 2 sentences to me. And I'm like, all right, I think that we have a text message or you have a text message. I have text messages from you that say, why am I even trying? Why am I doing this? And I believe, and I'm going to paraphrase, but I believe my response to Evie was, okay, you feel how you feel now. I'm going to be there for you, but I'm also not going to let you wallow in your misery. So take whatever it is you need today. And then tomorrow we're going to regroup. And then I remember she laughed, right? Because it's one of those things that it's like you can't wallow. You got to shake it off. Feel your feelings. And I think that's a big part of it. Sometimes people are just like, push the feelings away. It's no. And I will be honest, and I'll say that Angie's helped me with that, with reminding me even to. So the other consequence of this, and this is what made me start thinking about it, because I was talking to you guys about my water and I was talking to you guys about fasting. So because I stopped all physical activity, completely stopped all physical activity because I got depressed and my anxiety got the best of me, my eating habits went out the window, like completely out the window, like total garbage. And I like to munch and stuff, but normally that's okay because I'm usually very active, that I'm burning it off, and I never overindulge. I absolutely overindulged way more than what I should have this last quarter, these last 90 days, which then, of course, the other consequence is that I've gained weight. I've gained about 12 pounds. So then what do you think happened there? So then, of course, right, it's like I said, it was an avalanche. It was, I don't even want to say it was a snowball. It was literally like an avalanche where someone screamed too loudly and, the powder broke, and it was like nonstop of just, it's all coming at me, all of it and I'm just going to get buried. That is literally, so what happened was I gained weight. I gained about, I don't want to say 15 pounds. There's a possibility I might have gained 15 pounds. I don't want to admit to that just yet. I'm going to use the number 12. You know what's shitty is that, again, I was working out at the beginning of this year. I was doing the indoor cycling. I was doing CrossFit. So I had lost weight, almost 10 pounds at the beginning of this year. I gained all of that weight back. So I went back to my starting weight. Yeah, so it's about 12 to, I don't think it was 15 because I didn't officially lose 15 pounds, but 10 pounds. I was very close to being I was right at 8 pounds that I had lost. So I gained back all of the weight that I lost. So I went back to my starting weight and then gained 3 pounds from my starting weight. So that exacerbated my depression even more because it wasn't even the scale. It's, how it gets you. Your clothes start fitting differently. So what happened was because I've been on this fitness journey and I've been actively losing weight for the last 2 to 3 years now. And so then I've had to buy smaller clothes to fit me better because I do like my clothes to be fitted. Well, then guess what? I've gained about 12, 13 pounds. So those clothes that I bought that were fitted and just right for me are now too tight and too fitted. And it makes me uncomfortable. Physically, I'm uncomfortable because my clothes are too tight. So it was all of these things that then I'm annoyed and again, depressed because I'm I gained all this weight. What am I doing with myself? I'm always tired. It was just everything. And then luckily I didn't have a breakdown. But that's because I don't want to say I'm not a crier because I am emotional. I try not to cry because then once I cry, I cry. I let it out. I am a big teddy bear and I cried today because I was on Instagram and I'm not it's not my period. It's not PMS. This is just, I'm an emotional person. I am a Cancer. So I do those descriptions of us being emotional, sensitive, and moody. I fall into a lot of those things. But I do have those tendencies to be an empath. So I'm very empathetic to other people. I do feel I'm very sensitive. So I'm scrolling on. Tyler is 13 years old. Tyler is getting sick. He's been limping because he thought he was still 5 years old. And so he's been limping because he pulled a muscle. He lost a tooth because he's a Yorkie. And so Yorkies listen, all of these things have been happening. And I've been coming on the stream and smiling and hanging out with you guys, and you guys have no clue of what has been happening in the background. So Tyler lost a tooth about 2 weeks ago. He's been sick, and I've been trying to take him to the doctor. He needs x-rays, and I know Evie knows. We've talked about this because Bailey's been sick, so we've been kind of, supporting each other through that. And so he did lose a tooth 2 weeks ago. And I'm just like, he's 13. And so I know, not that he's going to maybe pass away this year, but it's like, I know his years are limited. And I've had Tyler since he was 1. So Tyler has been in my life for 12 years through heartache, through moves, through successes, through like, he's been there. That's my little road dog. Like, Tyler is my little road dog. So then I'm watching this stupid fucking Instagram, for lack of better words, on social media. And it was of a woman putting her dog, she was crying. They were in the vet's office and I guess they had to put the dog to sleep. And so she's like all bawling in tears. And so then I started thinking about Tyler and like when that moment comes. And I'm literally here at the desk, bawling, crying. And I swear to God, 15 minutes later, Paul's like, hey, how's your day going? And I'm like, well, I just had a total meltdown. And I sent him the Instagram post. And I was like, and Tyler's been sick. And that's another reason why I've been depressed, because I just feel like a horrible mom. And now, I'm just an emotional big teddy bear. And this is what my life has been like. Listen, no complaints. I love my life. I'm very happy. I'm in love. I have a great job. I'm successful. I've been doing great as a content creator. So it's not that my life sucks, but there have been very real things that have just been emotionally challenging. I'm just trying to word this, that maybe I would have been able to better cope, or would have been easier to cope. I don't want to say been better able to, but it would have been easier to cope with had this 100 days, had I not, not necessarily that had I not done the 100 days, but of course that's a part of it because that takes a big part of my schedule. Or had I planned better? It's an unexpected consequence where again, I don't think I would ever do a 100 days challenge again. Maybe if I become a full-time content creator, then possibly I can put that on my plate. But as of right now, I'm not a full-time content creator. I'm still a full-time banker. I would never do the 100 days challenge as a full-time banker and part-time content creator. I would absolutely do a 30-day challenge. And even with the 30 days, now I know a little bit better going into it of I have to make sure that before anything else, I have to put my self-care first. So I have to make sure that I continue to wake up early. I journal. I do, I spend time with my spirituality. I do my mindfulness. I continue the physical activity. Even if it would have been cut, right? Like think about it. Even if it would have been cut the time where normally I cycle for, like I said, on a short day is an hour to an hour and a half where I'm cycling. Even if I would have cut my physical activity for maybe 20 minutes where I would have done some yoga and done, a quick hit session or something like that, but done some sort of physical activity, I absolutely need to make sure, because I know that those weren't end all be all things, the things that happened, but because my coping mechanism, the tools that work for me and the tools that I've learned how to utilize my stress and those, when those things happen, I didn't do it. And so now here we are. All right. So let me go and check in on you guys. Cause I just shared, I said, listen, once this 100 days are over, I've been telling you guys, once this 100 days are over, you guys are going to know everything about me. There's not going to be no secrets. We're going to be like super family. Well, that was a load I took off, or what? I don't even know. You guys know. All right. Caleb, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. What is cracking tech troublemaker? What is popping? Thank you so much. Mike Reed, thank you, sir. How are you? So here we go. I just wanted to come in. Angie came through and said hello. Gretchen says, one consequence of my daily stream I had to deal with is not getting out with my camera as often. That threw me into a bad spiral for a while until I recognized it and addressed it. Exactly that. Right? So it's one of those things that you don't you don't realize how important it is to you. Like, you enjoy it. So those, that's where it comes into, I guess I'm going to take this, you take it for granted, that it falls into that category of taking things for granted, because it's, you know that you enjoy going out with your camera, you enjoy taking pictures, but it wasn't until you stopped doing it to see the positive, how big of a positive impact that it has on your life. So it was the same thing for me with physical activity and, like the journaling and things like that, that it was like, okay, no. So for instance, I was at Angie's house last week. I absolutely took my bike last week. And not only did I take my bike, but I also took my bike out and I did 22 miles, I think it was. I went out, I think on Saturday, whatever day it was great. Or it was actually a weekday. I ended work at like 3:00. The weather was great. It was like a good 70 degrees, that with working out, I knew I was going to get hot. And I left the house for almost 3 hours and I did 20 miles and it was amazing. Right. So addressing it is huge. Understanding. And I think a big part of that also is, self-reflection, of understanding for you, right? So being honest with yourself and knowing what works for you, and just really having that ability to reflect, I think is huge. Mike says, I find that you're one of the few authentic humans I've discovered this past year. So you're so refreshing. What is poppin'? Thanks, Mike. I'm also very funny. I appreciate you. I don't know if I'm very funny. I like to think of myself as very funny. Okay, whatever. Let's see. Angie says, you're making me mushy and I want to hold you. Oh, now you're being mushy. I love you, babe. You need Evie to FaceTime you. I mean, listen, she's just going to show you the palm trees and make you jealous. So, be careful of that. Thank you so much, Caleb. It's all right. And yes, the community has been there with me. And that's why I chose at different points. I have been vulnerable with you guys, even before, like, I knew Caleb, before I knew Mike. When my ex and I broke up, that I had a fiance, and it was like my life was turned upside down. And I was 100% honest with the community, that I was like, and that's why I was staying in Pittsburgh last year before I bought my house, because my life was flipped upside down. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with myself? But it's okay, because God brought me and Angie together. And that's all the mush that you'll get. That's it. All right. Let's see. Laura says, just dropping in to say hello. Awesome live stream. Loneliness and isolation can be so overwhelming. Everyone needs support and encouragement. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. I do have to respond, but you should have gotten an email with a link to my Calendly so you can schedule yourself. And if you did not get that, let me know and I'll send you the link directly. Evie says, I'm lucky enough to realize for me, it's usually a hormonal imbalance. I didn't take care well enough of my body and the spiral starts. Yeah, definitely. All right. Obs was saying good evening. Okay. Paul is just we were just talking about that earlier this week, about the catchphrases, domino effect. My usual reaction is to hide and go total MIA. I finally now reach out to a couple people, telling them I'm struggling. See, that's good, right? So that, I didn't see that comment, obviously, because now I'm going backwards. But that's a big part of your self-reflection. It's about really knowing what the fuck, right? Really saying that, honestly, just saying that, what the fuck? Taking a moment to be brutally honest with yourself, be brutally vulnerable with yourself, having those moments of self-reflection, and then allowing yourself to be brutally honest and vulnerable with your community. Because if not, you're going to be in that spiral all the time. So, Laura says, watch out, menopause. No, not ready. Nope, not happening. Paul says, I would do the same. I would go off the radar. Being a moderator had helped me stop doing that. I have commitments that force me to show up, right? That's huge. That is 100% huge. But Paul and I spoke the other day, and you still have to really, so even today, so it's so funny going back to Gretchen's comment about recognizing that she stopped going out with her camera recognizing the negative impact that that had on her. So she said, okay, now I'm going to go back. She, addressed it and started going back out on camera. Today I had to go to my local branch to print out flyers for the event for tomorrow. And so I was hungry because you guys know how I get when I get hangry. So I was hungry and I was going to come back home and I was just going to grill outside, put some burgers. I have burgers. So put some burgers on the grill. I was going to get some vegetables and I was like, all right, cool. I'll just grill when I get home. And I saw a Panera and I love Panera salads on the way there. And I was like, you know what? I'll grab a salad. That's still healthy. So I pulled in and I saw they had the tables and stuff outside and the sun was shining. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to take this back home because I was going to take it back home and then come back to the dungeon and sit and eat here and keep working. I said, no, you're going to take an hour for yourself. The dogs are fine at home. The applications are still going to be there. You are already out. You're going to take this hour. You're going to order your salad and you're going to actually sit and be outside, face the sun, get some vitamin D in, and just take the time with yourself outside with fresh air and enjoy the salad. And that is what I did. I had a very good salad from Panera. I bought water with myself. I brought water so I didn't have to buy a drink. I opted not to have their bread as much as I love bread and I love Panera bread. I opted not to have their bread. I got a fruit salad. So some natural, healthy sugars. And then because I didn't get a drink from them, because I brought my drink from home and I didn't get bread, I said, you know what? I'm going to be kind to myself. And I got a cookie. And it was the best hour that I just sat and I didn't do anything. And I did look at my phone, but I forced myself to put my phone in my pocket and just really breathe and relax, right? So it goes back to that self-reflection of, what do you need? Because that's the other thing. I'm always here. So Paul and I were talking about that, where it's like us as content creators. And even if you work from home, if for your full-time job, like with my full-time job, I work from home. So I'm working from home all day in the basement here. So I don't have windows. And then I switch from being a banker to then being a content creator. And I'm not getting out there and just sitting outside and just getting fresh air. So today I was like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm feeling better. I'm in a good mood. I'm actually out. I'm going to take advantage of being out. Let's see, cry at commercials. If they're dog commercials, I will cry at commercials, Gretchen. Don't judge me because if they are dog commercials, guys, I love dogs and I'm very emotional. Cancers, yeah, emotional. Never watch pop. See, I didn't even get to the second comment. Exactly that. I didn't even see the comment under it. But this is such a very real thing. If it's puppy movies or anything, like for me, it's like if the puppy is, don't let the puppy have a tumultuous ending because I'm not going to say the bad words, but don't let it be. Because I am 100% crying. Like, that's it. Gigi says, cancers are emotional gangsters. Listen, and I've always been this emotional. So I'll tell you guys a story. Like I said, at the end of this 100 days, you guys are going to can fill out a paper of all the funny moments and funny stories that I've told you guys, or memorable moments and stories about my life. I was 7. My sister and I are 7 years apart. So my mom was pregnant. So I might have been 6. I might have been 7, depending on, I feel like I was 7. So it was just me, my mom, and my dad. I do tell my parents that I'm the golden child and they should have kept it there. My brother and sister don't appreciate that too much, but I don't care. I mean, whatever. And they were watching a movie. My dad was a big movie fan and we would do, movie nights as a family. So they were watching a movie. I don't know what movie it was. I'm sure it was a comedy, but it was of 2 guys and they were con artists, but the one guy had a daughter. And so that was, the premise of the guy trying to manage his daughter. I have no idea what this movie was. This is literally going on I over 25 years ago, 24 years ago, 25, whatever. Don't judge my math. The point is that I was 7, over 20, let's say 23 years ago. And the con artist guy was trying to juggle his daughter and being a con artist and whatever it is. And something happened to the dad. The daughter was sad in the movie. I broke down. My parents didn't even know. I was like playing by myself in the corner, watching but not watching, right? They're watching the movie. I'm doing my own thing. A 7-year-old kid. If Angie's still watching, it's like Mackenzie, that it's like she's watching but not, right? And you're watching the movie, and as long as the kid is, all of a sudden, I know that I started bawling, crying, and my parents look over and they're like, "Oh my God, what happened? Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, because I don't want that to happen to Daddy." And my dad, I love my dad. May he rest in peace. My dad thought it was freaking funny, and not in a cruel way, but he thought that it was cute, funny, and was laughing, not at me, but was laughing. He hugged me, he consoled me, but was laughing. Like, this is just a movie. Ha ha ha. Why you? My dad was also a boy. He was like in his young 20s. If I was 7, my dad had to be, he was like no older than like 25, 26. So my dad didn't know any better. But I'm telling you that even back when I was 7 years old, I was watching a movie and like I immediately, the empath in me associated me and my dad and whatever was happening to the stupid man in TV. I'm like, I don't want that to happen to Daddy. I just love him so much. I'm way too much of an empath. I have to be very careful. I absorb too much. And I'm just learning this because I agree. That's definitely, it is a very huge thing. And you have to be very careful with that. And you know what's so funny? So I think the issue then becomes, not the issue, but for us as content creators and as live streamers, and I did touch upon this a little bit in the Streamer Accelerator class when I was talking, because Loria did ask about self-care and about being vulnerable and things like that. And then, you know, some of the participants had the opportunity to ask questions. And so, you know, one of the participants asked about like the depression that I had mentioned and my loneliness. And so he asked about comparing when you're engaging with your community in a live stream versus when you're engaging in, let's say, like a Zoom or a networking session. And I think for us, we have community, we have support. So even like for me with this 100 days, some of you guys like K-Walk, right? So I do talk to Gigi on the phone weekly. I talk to Evie on the phone weekly. I talk to Paul weekly, and they're here. But K-Walk, Kathy Walker, is on the streams, or even like Kevin, right? There's some of you guys that show up Gretchen has been here almost every single day since day one. And I engage with her every single day, and we share stories, and Gretchen will send me messages on whatever it was, like to not sidetrack me. She'll send me messages on whatever we were talking about during the stream. So I engage with the community, certain members during the live stream, either during the live stream or outside of the live stream, but there's still that X degrees or 90 degrees, whatever you want to call it. I think it's way more than 90 degrees of separation, that sometimes it goes back to that self-reflection and not self-reflection, but probably self-awareness that you got to be careful of, because you are talking to people every day, right? You are engaging with people. So it's not a two-way conversation, but I'm looking at your thumbnails. I'm looking at the comments. It's like, you know, so there is community there. You're talking to your friends. And I think it's very easy sometimes to get caught up in that of, oh, I have friends. Oh, I have, you know, even let's say like me, Doc, and Diana, right? Those are my friends. And I don't stream with them because we're all like on different schedules and stuff, but those are my friends. And it's those things of, yeah, I talk to them, but it's like, but do we really stop to talk? Are we really like, so we have a group messenger that will bring stuff up. And, you know, if a new camera comes up or whatever it is, we talk in those group chats. But those are not real, actual stop, let's talk, have conversations, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in that social media interaction of the internet, that can affect your, like Paul mentioned, the isolation. That can affect your feelings of loneliness, because at the end of the day, once I'm done with this, I've been streaming today already for an hour. So once I'm done with this hour, let's say hour and 15, hour and 20 long stream, I'm going to go upstairs and I'm by myself again, right? Angie is still 4 hours north, and my mom and Joseph are still 4 hours west, and my friends in New Jersey are an hour and a half to 2 hours north going towards Angie's house. So I'm still by myself. So it's recognizing that as well. And it's funny because I'm sure all of you guys that live stream and do some sort of content creation can also relate to that. When you're done with a live stream or when you're done with a recording, there's that natural high. Your endorphins, like you're up, like you have that energy. So it does take a minute from when I get off of a live stream, because I have this natural high from being on here and engaging with you guys and getting everything ready. Like there's a lot that's going on when you're doing a live stream, right? And when you're engaging with your community. So when I end the live stream, I'm still like, it takes me some time to wind down. But then recognizing that after the fact, right? So it goes into, so for me, it's like, okay, so it takes me a while. I'll usually watch some TV to try to just not have my brain do anything, because literally I'm looking at a computer screen and looking at numbers or doing tech stuff all day, so that when I'm done with the live stream, that my day is over, I go upstairs, I sit down, and I just turn on TV just so that my brain can stop thinking. That takes about an hour to an hour and a half for me to really like unwind and just slow down. And then it's time for bedtime. So then for me, those feelings of the loneliness wouldn't really kick in until the next day, if that makes sense. Because like I said, once the stream is over, because the way I do the stream, it's not like I'm streaming, let's say in the morning, first thing in the morning, and then I have all day. It would probably affect me differently, but for me, it's kind of like on a delayed effect, which then I think also is what also took that avalanche longer, if that makes sense, what I'm trying to convey to you guys. All right, let's go back here. Okay, good. I'm glad that you received the link. Very nice. Looking forward to connecting with you, Laura. The pandemic and isolation prompted my brother and I to stream. It has helped us both with our depression. See, that's good. And then, so that's the thing though, that's really cool too with you guys, is that, Paul says, you guys, I'm looking at the comments. No, absolutely not. With Paul's caps, definitely not. No. But what's also cool with this, with K-Walk, right, is that it's helped you both with your depression. But I don't know if it's necessarily, here's what I would say. Of course, I'm sure it's the streaming, but I feel like probably because you guys are doing that together, it's bonding that you guys are doing. It's bringing your relationship together closer. And that's probably more, and not to say that the live streaming isn't helping your depression, but then when you start to peel the onion back, it's okay. So let's really look at that. So you and your brother are doing something together. It's that bonding. You're being forced to be together, even if it's not physically, right? You guys are seeing each other. You're talking more on a consistent basis. So it's the same thing with me and Joseph. With me and Joseph, when I was living with him in Pittsburgh before I bought my house, we were doing everything together because we are very close. I cried. It hurt. And I don't think he knows, because I'm the big sister and I have to be strong and brave, and I'm not going to show my brother and sister my weakness. Don't judge me. Working through this, but that's a very real thing. So unless he watches this live stream, he wouldn't know. And I'm telling you guys, and I'm feeling emotional telling you guys, because when I had to pack up, all I had was clothes there. But when I had to pack up my clothes, that it was, 2 weeks before closing that I was getting everything, I was sad to leave his house because I enjoyed being with my brother all the time. I enjoyed spending time with him. I enjoyed having those moments of closeness. And it was also harder for me, and I'm all like teary-eyed. But it was also, I guess it impacted me even more because I knew that once I moved in, not that me and him wouldn't, because I spoke to him on the phone for 45 minutes today. So it's not that we wouldn't spend time together, but it was that, damn it, I'm moving 4 hours away. I can't just pick up on a Saturday and be like, hey, Joe, I'm coming over. Let's go. I want to do some stuff with the car. Or he'll call me and say, hey, I need some stuff done in the house. Can you help me and come over? It's one of those things that we both have to be very intentional. So I bring that up because then to go back into K-Walk's comment that you guys are both streaming, you guys are together, it's helping you both with your depression. I would say that that's a big part of that also is that bonding and that forced time together and you guys doing something together and growing together and learning together, probably playing a huge part of it. Let's see. Just catching up on the comments. The video, did you really cry, Paul? That video was sad, right? Like that video that I sent him of the lady having to put her dog to sleep. I was like, I went upstairs. Listen, guys, I went upstairs and I sat on the floor next to, I had to put Koa in the crate because, you know, Koa's crazy. She's still a puppy. So I had to put Koa in the crate. And then I sat down on the floor next to Tyler and I was just petting him. And I was like, I love you so much. And you're my best friend. And you're such a good dog. And I was making eye contact with my dog. This was a very real thing. This happened today. Making eye contact with my dog. And I'm like, you're such a good dog. You've been so good to me. I went and I gave him lots of treats. And then I went to Petco on my way back from the branch. I went to Petco and I got him his own toys. I got Koa toys, but I got him his own toys that I made sure Koa didn't take away. Like that was a very real thing for me today. Paul says, it's a double-edged sword, the stress of planning plus the stress of the stream. Sometimes you just have to cut the emotional stress and do the stream 100%. And I did mention this a lot. And I guess that's probably why I'm talking about it today, because it's also very fresh in my mind since Loria interviewed me and she brought, she asked me the questions, right? So she really had me thinking about it, obviously in the stream during the interview, but then even after the fact, it's one of those things that I was kind of like, thinking about it and processing. So this was a big part of the consequence here, and it was learning experience, the consequence, right? The second half of Paul's comment where he says, sometimes you just have to cut the emotional stress and just do the stream. So for me, I'm a perfectionist. We've spoken about that before. I am very controlling, not in a bad way, but I'm a control freak that it's like I'm a planner. So not necessarily, so a control freak from the aspect of being a planner. So that if things don't go as planned, I'm like spazzing out. I'm literally like twitching. The other piece of this here, which I've tried, I'm still growing in this aspect. The other piece of to cut the emotional stress, just do the stream. I still don't know how to do that. I'm trying it. I've done it. I've been doing it. Okay, so let me not say I don't know how to do that. I am not comfortable with doing that. I did it today. The reason why I say I'm not comfortable with doing it is because I feel like I owe you as my community and as my friends and as my supporters, I owe you something to bring valuable content. So to just do the stream, it's like, well, I can't just freaking come on stream and not have a plan or not have at least a subject or a topic, because then people are going to show up and what's the value I bring there? Like, why? I'm very hard on myself with that. And it's not, so that's why I reworded it, because it's not that I don't know how to do it or that I haven't done it, because I do know how to do it. I have in fact done it. I'm not comfortable with it. And so then what happens is that's where then those feelings of anxiety come in, because since I'm not comfortable with it and I'm very hard on myself, I'm like, oh my God, well, what am I going to talk about? I have to talk about something. I have to add value. I have to make sure that I have something important, that I'm not just wasting their time, or that I didn't care about today's stream. And it's this spiral of thoughts. So that's working through some stuff for me, growth. K-Walk says, not commenting, just listening and appreciating your openness and this conversation. Thank you, K-Walk. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's see. All right. Pandemic. All right. I answered that. Okay. Perhaps this 100 days of streaming commitment raise your emotional intelligence to a whole new level. Your self-awareness is off the charts. You rock. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you. I've definitely being self-aware of where my opportunities are, my areas of growth, the things that I do, like being very hard on myself and having very high expectations and having the anxiety. I know that because it affects me so much, because I do have I don't suffer from them, but I have had panic attacks in the past. I have suffered from anxiety. I have suffered from depression. So knowing that, I have to be very self-aware to make sure that those things that are triggers do not trigger me. And so I don't fall into that stuff. But it has helped me with understanding of even going to like thinking about with what I said about my friends or my community. So it's with that stuff, the work that I'm now going to focus on is that I want to focus on building a community here in Philadelphia. I've started to kind of scratch the surface because I've told you guys that I'm a part of cycling clubs and stuff like that. So I do have friends here, but I haven't done much work to foster those friendships here. So now that the 100 days, I'm going to reach out to those people. I haven't been out with the groups because like on Wednesdays, they ride when I'm about to live stream. I won't get home till very late. I got to shower. I got to do all of that stuff. So then once the 100 days is over, I'll start riding with the group again and start fostering those relationships during cycling, as well as then I have one or two people that we've said, hey, let's go out. And I've gone out to dinner with one friend in particular and just continuing to reach out to those people so that I can build my community here, so that I can have people that I can go to that are close to home, but then also reaching out to staying in touch, I would say, doing a better job at staying in touch with my friends that are up north, that when things get really bad, right? Because obviously life is not perfect. You're going to go through ups and downs. So that if something gets really bad again, I can reach out to, let's say, Roxanne and say, listen, I really need to have a girls' night. Let's hang out. Let's do a late dinner. I'll come and hang out with you at your house. I just need someone to be around. And just making sure that I do those things so that, again, coping mechanisms. So relying on the coping mechanisms that I know work for me so that it doesn't become this avalanche that then envelops me and I just start rolling and I become a part of the snowball, or I become a part of the avalanche itself. See, there you go. Evie says, getting out and meeting people again is the reason why I started dating. See? Oh, Panera Breads. No judge, I cry at them too. I'm married to a man that cannot walk past pet stores and malls. We have to cross the other side. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. All right. I feel so connected, especially since you're living in my hometown. Definitely. Yes. Whenever K-Walk, when you come to Philly, we are hanging out. So much skinnier in that thumbnail. I can't change it. Okay. It's different though, talking digital and being next to someone in one person. I know that I'm super delayed on the comments, so I'm just trying to come back up. But that is different, right? And understanding that, and not that there's anything wrong with it, because the friendships that I have established from being a content creator, real life friendships. So there's friendships that I know are going to, and I don't want to say real life friendships. That's a bad way to describe it. Where I've physically met people, I would say, because there are so many people that I still have to meet more. So here's a perfect example. I've met Dr. Elo. Dr. Elo and I have had dinner together. We talk. Dr. Elo's another person, actually. I had a shitty day at work last week. He texted me about something. He was like, hey, do you have a few minutes? And I said, can we connect tomorrow because I'm feeling crappy? And he was like, talk to me about it. And so I called him, we vented, right? So like Dr. Elo and I we're friends outside of the content creation space. We've broken bread. And for me to break bread with you, that's huge for me, right? Because it's like, okay, if I'm going to sit and I'm going to eat with you, we're friends, like we're family, but then there's also people that I would say are like family, but we have yet to meet. So like Diana and I FaceTime again. I FaceTime her multiple times a month. We're texting. That is my homie. That's my road dog, but I haven't met her yet. Right. But understanding those differences, and the same thing like with Evie and Paul, like I'm just trying to figure out how I can get to San Francisco and see the both of them, because I'm going to see the both of them and I'm probably going to crash at the both of their houses, right? Like Evie already said it, Paul, if you didn't know, now you know. But it's those type of friendships that, thank God, I'm so grateful for the pandemic. I'm so grateful for content creation, because I would have never met Evie. I would have never met Paul. I would have never met Gretchen. I would have right? All of you guys. It's either that it's on the agenda to meet or I've met already. I need to yell at David because David Blackman passed through Pennsylvania and he has not met me, but that's besides the fact. But I met with Steve from Scarlet Glass, right? Like Lem and I were supposed to meet. Like there's so many different people, but understanding that talking digitally and actually sitting next to someone and having lunch with them and just like, or even like when you see your friend, that it's that initial hug, just that human interaction, you can't replace that. And you got to make sure you keep that in your lives. Not every day, but make sure you keep it in your life because it makes a big deal. Let's see. You guys are saying the connection is amazing. I agree. As close as I am to my digital friends, I need that in-person energy, 100%. If I don't have that in person, I'll spiral I didn't get to the comments yet, but we're on the same page about that. There you go. See, Maestro, see, we can relate. Same thing. Tyler Koa now is there, but oh my goodness, Gretchen is probably gone already because her live stream was starting in 4 minutes. I don't know how long ago that comment was. But it's amazing. Online friends physically need that in-person energy. It's an energy exchange that fuels me. That makes moving away to do your own thing tougher, knowing you'll be alone. You're so brave. Aw, thanks, honey. I appreciate you. Mike says, for the past 2 years of facilitating hundreds of remote learning sessions, I too was spiraling downward because of social isolation. I've pivoted to a new job of in-person training and I'm better now. It makes, right? Like there's so many, listen, I love working at home. Don't put me back in an office. I love working at home, but then it goes back to the self-reflection, understanding what I need, and then going out, right? So like last month, I went out with a local branch manager here and we did business development where we were looking for realtors and we were trying to, do networking together. And I spent the whole day with him and I had such a good time. So it was like, all right, cool. I don't mind that stuff, but understanding that and keeping that balance of, okay, I love working from home, but I also need to go out and visit my nonprofit agencies and visit other branch managers and visit realtors so that I can have that every now and again and do that a few times a month and having that good balance, because just working in the office every day without going out, that's no bueno. Hey, Robin, how are you? Control freak, a live streamer, which is uncontrollable. Yes, exactly. I've been so impressed with your planning and bringing value, your ongoing content creation. Aw, thank you. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate you. Aw, thanks, Eric. You guys are like going to bring up all my happy feelings at the end of this. The couch is ready. Bailey snuggles required. You know I have no problems snuggling the pups. That is okay with me. One of us would have to sleep in the bathtub. I'll sleep in the bathtub. It's okay. I'll bring a sleeping bag. Oh my goodness. Going to Albany last year was so amazing. Making those virtual connections is real, right? And then seeing them, meeting everybody in person. Gave Paul a bathtub. No, Robin, he's saying when I go up to see him, one of us is going to have to sleep. He's still sleeping on the floor in my closet. So I will check that out. Albert, thank you so much. I live in a 1-room apartment, my couch in my aero chair in my front desk. Listen, we'll make it work. So that was, so this was an unexpected subject. I didn't know I was going to talk about this today. It was not planned. Literally, I was talking to you guys about fasting. I looked at my water bottle. I wanted to tell you guys that between fasting, I'm also being conscious on drinking. So this is my second 32. So once I finish this today, I'll have had about 70 ounces of water today. Maybe 75 because my coffee counts. But that's what triggered it. Me telling you guys about my fasting and working on being consciously healthier. But then it was more than just, oh, I'm going to eat healthy and I'm going to work out. Being healthy, mentally healthy, and being emotionally healthy, as well as being physically healthy. So that is all that she wrote for this evening. 1 bedroom here too. That's where I'm living my couch as a sleeper. Do you have a 1 bedroom or studio? You guys are just talking about that stuff. She literally told me right before the stream she was going. I always do this. I told Paul because I was tired. Paul, I literally had a 15-minute break between bank work stopping and then content creation work. So I was like, I'm tired. It's going to be a short stream. And here we are, an hour and 23 minutes later. And see this, but this is what happens. I looked over and people just kept chiming in. And right now I have 17 of you guys watching. And for a good amount of time, there were 19 people watching. I could not end the stream because for me, it was like, oh, people, you guys are appreciating the rawness and the vulnerability of what I'm saying. So I can't end it here. But I did tell Paul that it was going to be quick because I had no intentions of going into this stuff. So you are very welcome. Thank you guys for giving me the space and the platform to be vulnerable, no judgments, to be completely me. You guys are the 100% absolute best. And I love every single one of you guys. So thank you. Let's do what we do. Man, today we are on day 98. Can you guys believe it? Day 98. I can't believe it. 2 days to go. So tomorrow's day 99. And then on Sunday, we're celebrating. On Sunday will be day 100, my 100th day streaming consecutively. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. It's quick. It's under 3 hours. See, she knows. Come on. She knows. We all have some shitty days. That's normal. 100%. All right, you guys. Oh, look. We'll do my end scene. I didn't fix it. But Dancing Paul is hanging out. We can kind of keep Dancing Paul right over here somewhere-ish. I got to figure this out. I'm going to fix this. I can bring my dancing pony. Let me see. Hold on. Where is the uni? There's the uni. We can bring her over here. And we'll bring Paul over here. This is in true pride fashion, y'all. Hold on. Oh! Talk about true pride fashion right there. Man, oh man. No, I'm not singing on Sunday, Eric. Don't get any bright ideas. Don't get any bright ideas. No, I'm not singing. I thought about that for a quick second. Not happening. I will be back tomorrow, Groundhog Day. We'll relive 99 for 99 years. No. But I will be back tomorrow, probably at about 8 o'clock, 7:30ish. And then we're going to wrap up this 100 days. Oh, the pony got hidden. We're going to wrap up the 100 days and call it a wrap. I'm not dancing neither. I can't really dance. I probably can sing better than what I can dance. All right, you guys. Peace out. Buenos nachos. Nos vemos. Good night.